is the NBA on NBC. The 1996.
Okay, this is the Smoking Man on the Iron Mask. It's been a minute since I've been back.
Ron Harper means that Michael now does not have
the main thing I wanted to discuss, I mean, it's been about 2 or 3 weeks, but Bildeberg and Rand Paul endorses Mitt Romney. Those are the 2 topics. Now, first off, I spoke in one of my previous videos that the idea that the supreme elite controllers meeting at a hotel that you get published the location of and having media be there is absurd. Given all the underground bases and the remote locations, whether it's Balmoral, Scotland, Swiss mountains, which they did San Maurice, but come on now. Do you think that these people would throw the biggest supposed confab of the controllers? And I just say that mockingly because obviously they're not the super controllers. They're a capo level organization. Okay. But the idea that they have a meeting and get outed by Alex Jones and a bunch of Ron Paul supporters and get bullhorned, etc., is absurd and ridiculous. As if this is, Appalachian 1957, like all the mobsters of the free world get caught because they didn't have the local state troopers. Okay, if you believe that, I got some commercial Willis on the east side of Detroit. Okay, right off Mack Avenue. All right. Topic number 2. Because really the topic, the most pressing issue geopolitically should be Syria, and that's what everybody should be focused on, not a birth certificate goose chase, and not really the Rand Paul announcement, but I'll deal with that because some of you guys are struggling with that. Oh, now, okay, let's go over the facts. Rand Paul had a meeting with Mitt Romney for 30 minutes, he says in the interview. A couple weeks ago, Bernanke had a meeting with Ron Paul that didn't get much press. He had a breakfast with Ron Paul. The Bilderberg meeting goes down, supposedly, according to inside sources that can't be verified, and Jim Tucker, a stalwart column of truth himself, supposedly, there were definitely against Ron Paul. And now we see that Rand Paul has endorsed Mitt Romney. Okay, now, let's address all the rumors about Ron Paul. And I've done this before in other videos. He's rumored to be a Freemason. He's rumored to have Freemasons in his family. Okay, his son is a senator. He voted for the Afghan war. It's kind of funny that this all happened because, see, for the Alex Jones listeners, we all saw that he basically ignored the whole Ron Paul campaign in his daily shows for about the whole time it was going on. Since Herman came, there was no emphasis on Ron Paul, very little mention. And now today, since Rand Paul has endorsed Mitt Romney, now he's coming out the bag like he knew all along and blah, blah, blah. He's covering his ass. Because the fact of the matter is, you've been sold a bill of goods by both of them. You saw the interviews where Ron Paul was cagey about 9/11 truth or whatever. This guy's a politician. Not only that, you saw how Webster Tarpley basically skewered Alex Jones in an interview just a week ago, before this announcement was made, saying that Ron Paul and those guys were not shit. And were sellouts and were basically nepotists. And that Ron Paul voted for the Afghan war to get more dope for the military and industrial complex. Okay? Those are all facts there. So now, the whole way they ran this campaign, playing footsie with Mitt Romney, and now the son endorses him. Ron Paul mum on the whole supposed election fraud issue. Now, what does it take to prove to the average truther what's really going on with Alex Jones and Ron Paul and Rand? Okay, because I've read through the comments and most of them see it like, oh, fuck this shit, we've been scammed. I'd say that's about 50 or 60%. There's another 20% saying, well, let's not rush to judgment. Maybe they've got a strategy. Maybe they know what they're doing. Then there's 10% is like, I'm still voting for Ron Paul. Ron Paul all the way. I don't suspect any chicanery here. That's about what it is. So now Alex Jones had to come out and vindicate himself and show that he indeed knew all along but didn't want to say anything because he didn't want to hurt Ron Paul. And it's not about Ron Paul and Rand Paul. It's about the message of liberty and truth that has just been co-opted by the Mormon cults and their benefactors who are trying to propel this man into Washington. So that's the main thing I really want you to pay attention to, is that me and so many other people have been saying for years and years, this man is a politician. His son is now in a position to be a skilled politician with a bright political future. And that at the end of the day, he was no different than any of these other puppets. Now, there are some of you who still doubt that. You might blame Rand Paul, maybe, well, the apple rolled down the hill from the tree. This is something that's with the son. The son's been brainwashed. He's drinking the Kool-Aid now. He's been given a glimpse of power, blah, 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 blah. And this is what you have to understand. And this is what I'll leave it with. Because on other previous videos, I've shown what research I've done and what research a person needs to do to be fluent in history and understand the agenda of what's going on today. The fact of the matter is, this is all a charade. All of it. Law, religion, color of law, elections. This is all a sham and a farce. And it's been proven. Somebody who will go on Alex Jones' show and pretend to agree with what he says and then go on Fox or CNN and repudiate it or laugh at it. Okay. Someone who, let's be quite frank, and I've said this again, you can argue this wherever you want. You know what family hails from Texas by way of Kennebunkport, Maine. Okay, Samuel P. Bush, a senator, the son of him, H.W. Bush, CIA director, Eli Lilly, board of directors, etc., then president, then the son. Okay, all out of Texas. All that going on in the last 40 or 50 years. And you got another guy who comes from Texas who's been there for 30 plus years. And plays baseball, favors baseball like the elder Bush. Okay, because Daddy Bush won the College World Series for Yale. Google that. So the whole point is, you've been scammed again, and as I got 2 minutes left on this, what to do now? Well, other than be a prepper, prepare for yourself to protect yourself in these dire times that we more than likely will be going through in the next few months as the economy collapses, as possibly the weather gets more unpredictable, as food and gas prices may rise, as we might be attacked with some type of incident that causes more liberties to be restricted, which you really don't need, because in the movie They Live, they had little surveillance orbs floating around. And now you've got surveillance orbs floating around the size of a golf ball. That was in the Washington Times this week. Okay, so as you see Jordan here on the floor enjoying victory, just know that the New World Order, or whatever you think of it as, has always enjoyed the victory throughout history. And this is no different. If you can't see the guys on the court supposedly playing for you are getting paid by the same association, like the NBA, and are rich, and at the same time you're losing more and more freedoms and money, and some of you are dumb enough to be duped into voting for these actual people and giving them your money and your hard-earned energy, then you can see that it's truly over. Let's say the Bildeberg and all that really was happening as it's presented. The fact that they could meet in the open and conspire and then fulfill their plans through the media and through commerce and everything else the year following that, if that is the hub of it, does that not show you that they are the world champions, that they can't be stopped, that you proliferating so-called liberty or the ideas of freedom has done nothing to stop them? Mike has 6 rings. How many rings did the New World Order have? For how many years in existence? I'd say they'd be on their 1,000th ring. Smoke Man in the Iron Mask, wake up. You've been duped again.